Pretty simple. The Raiders on a winning streak, the Rebels on a losing streak. We're playing games today. This is a PS4. Shout out to everybody who is trying to cop that PS5, Xbox Series X. I know, it's hard. I'm trying the same way. But let's game. It's episode 16 of Heat and Low. So our Las Vegas Raiders won 2 consecutive games, both on the road. This last weekend they were in LA facing the Chargers, a divisional game. Now improved to 2-0 inside the division. And talk about another heartbreaker for the Chargers. They lose on the last play of the game last week against the Broncos. This last week against the Raiders, they almost won on the last play. They were down by 5, and Justin Herbert tried to hit Donald Parham for the game winner. It looked like a good catch. The commentators were celebrating. The Chargers were celebrating. But then when you go back and look at the replay, as soon as the ball hit the ground, good defense by Jonathan Abram was able to move the ball. And, it wasn't a clean catch. Therefore, the Raiders hung on and won the game. And thus, another heartbreaker. The Chargers now fall to 2-6, but I mean, their record is not vindicated on their talent and their team because Justin Herbert outplayed Derek Carr. He was 28 of 42, had 326 yards, 2 TDs. Derek Carr, on the other hand, he didn't play bad. He was 13 of 23, 165 yards. Also had 2 touchdowns to Nelson Aguilar and Darren Waller. That seems to be his 2 favorite pair of receivers. Hunter Renfrow had 2 receptions for 60 yards, but Henry Ruggs had 0 targets. He was a factor kind of earlier in the season. He's the rookie out of Alabama. I really like him. Jason Witten, the veteran, really hasn't been a factor for the Raiders. So, again, I mean, at the end of the day, wins are what counts, but I hope, Derek Carr can kind of dish it out a little bit. I don't want to shut out Henry Ruggs because I think he is an impressive rookie and going to be a big-time receiver. So, we'll see what happens. But again, at the end of the day, just like Al Davis says, just win, baby. And that is, that was the definition of just win, baby. Come down to the last play of the game, and the Raiders defensively secured the win. Let's talk about kickers, though. Daniel Carlson, the kicker for the Raiders, 17 of 19 this year. That ranks best in the league out of all the kickers. So he's only missed 2 kicks, and that's really good. And so yeah, Daniel Carlson's been pulling through again. Derek Carr, I just want a little more variety from him. Now next is hosting the Denver Broncos at Allegiant Stadium. Like I mentioned, 2-0 so far for the Raiders inside the division, and against the Broncos, the all-time series. They lead with 64 wins, 53 losses, and 2 ties. Now this year, the Broncos do have wins against the Jets, Patriots, and Chargers, which when you look at their records, it's like, okay, Jets are 0-9, Patriots 3-5, Chargers 2-6. So not really quality teams, although, again, I'd argue for the Chargers. Now their losses come against some tougher teams. Now last week they lost to the Falcons. They scored 21 points in the fourth quarter, attempted a comeback, lost by 7, but they also have losses to the Titans, Steelers, Buccaneers, and Chiefs. So again, pretty substantial teams. I don't want to sleep on this team. I actually predict that the Raiders will lose this game. Something is telling me that. I think the Broncos, again, are finding somewhat of a rhythm, and I don't know whether the Raiders are just going to sleep on them, but I do see the Raiders losing this game. I hope I'm proven wrong, but something inside tells me that. So I actually want to go through the remaining schedule with you. So they take on the Broncos this weekend, and then it's the Chiefs at the Falcons, at the Jets, versus the Colts, Chargers, Dolphins, and then they finish the season traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos again. Halfway through the year, we have 8 games left. I was looking at this. I do think the Raiders will finish 5-3. They're 5-3 right now. I think they'll finish the season 5-3. making them go 10-6, which is what I said at the beginning of the year. It just might shape out a little differently. So the teams that I think they will beat are the Falcons, the Jets, the Colts, the Dolphins, and then the Broncos the second time around. I do think, again, I think the Broncos beat them this weekend. Then I think they're home again against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs come back, and again, their only loss this year is to the Raiders. I think they'll want to avenge that. I think Patrick Mahomes, he'll be on a mission, and so I do think they'll lose consecutive games after winning consecutive games, fall to 5-5, and then again, they will finish after that with their only loss, in my opinion, to the Colts. To the Chargers, actually. I do think that the Chargers will beat the Raiders the second time around. Again, it was a 5-point loss this last time. Justin Herbert, he has been playing phenomenally, especially as a rookie. So that's what I predict. Again, 10-6, finish as a wild card, sneak into the playoffs. Obviously, we don't know, the whole playoff scenario, but that is what I'm predicting. First half of the year, they go 5-3. Second half of the year, they go 5-3. Finish the season 10-6. But we'll have to see. It'll be exciting. Again, I hope the Raiders prove me wrong and beat Denver this weekend. But I do think Denver is kind of that sneaky good, just like the Chargers. You pay attention to the record, and it's like they don't look that good, but then they'll come and surprise you. I think Drew Lock will have something to say. So, Derek Carr, will you respond? We will just have to wait and find out. All right, so let's shift our focus to our UNLV Rebels. They fall to 0-3. Again, it's okay. Don't panic. It's going to take time to turn this team around. They're very young, inexperienced, got a lot of new pieces, so just relax. But they're coming off a loss of Fresno State. Now, they scored more points in each game. The first game against San Diego State only scored 6. Then against UNR, they scored 19. This last game, they scored 27. So the offense is getting better. Fun fact to also know about this game, it was tied at 27 at the end of the third quarter. So going into the fourth quarter, this was a competitive game. I mean, you look at it at the end, it's 40-27. You're like, oh, okay, another Rebel just kind of blowout. Not really. It was a tied game going to the fourth quarter, and then Fresno just blanked them and outscored them 13-0. So again, UNLV is starting to become a little more competitive 3 games in. I think you're going to continue to see that trend as we move along in the season. Max Gillum finished 15 of 31, so a little under 50%, 160 yards, 1 TD. He did have 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So again, have to clean that up a little bit. Talik Collins did score the only receiving touchdown, and he scored in the last 2 games, while Charles Williams, the running back, added another one on the ground. And if we want to, I'm going to continue to shout out kickers. Daniel Gutierrez finished the game 2 of 2, and he is 4 of 5 on the year so far. So shout out. I'm dedicating this episode to kickers. Kickers unite. The defense did play a little bit better. They did have 4 sacks between Jacoby Windmum and Adam Plant Jr., but with that, they still allowed Fresno's running back Ronnie Rivers to run wild, 133 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I say they played a little bit better, yet they just let, Rivers run wherever he wanted. There was landscape all over. So just, we have to tighten that up. The rushing defense has been struggling this year, but again, overall, playing a little bit better. The offense is definitely getting a rhythm. Again, if we can kind of just cut down on the interceptions from Gillum, and it looks like Gillum is going to be our guy, and it's good. I think, it's taken a few games for Coach Arroyo to kind of scope out and be like, hey, is Gillum going to be our guy? Is Oblak going to be our guy? Is Rogers going to be our guy? I think it's taken him a little bit to kind of see, all right, I'm gonna play all of them, and then, see what's the best product, and he's sticking with the senior, which I think at the end of the day, is a smart choice, veteran presence, and I think, you need to just have one guy. One guy needs to be your staple guy. Not that you can't play the other guys maybe on special plays. If you look at like a team like the New Orleans Saints where they primarily play Drew Brees, but then they'll bring Taysom Hill in for, wildcat options and stuff like that, I think that's fine. But again, I think you need to have one main guy, and I think Coach Arroyo has found that in Gilliam, playing a bit better. So we'll have to wait and see. This weekend they're traveling to San Jose State, who is undefeated. One of the two remaining unbeatens, the other one being UNR. I mean, come on, UNR. Always, they're good in football. You can't deny that. Rebels are obviously 0-3. Now, San Jose State has, when you look at who they have beat Air Force, New Mexico, and San Diego State. And I meant Fresno State. I think I just said San Diego State, but or San Jose State. Now I'm getting. There's all these different California states. You got Fresno, you got San Jose, you got San Diego. San Jose State is who I'm talking about. They have Air Force, New Mexico, and San Diego State. But when you look at two of those, Air Force and New Mexico are both winless. So, take that for what it is. Just kind of keep that into consideration. They're taking on another winless team in UNLV. But will UNLV finally be one of the teams? Will they be the winless team to knock off one of the unbeatens? I surely would like to see it. Again, I don't think they're going to win until they play Wyoming in a few weeks. So we'll have to see. And then UNLV is on the road this weekend and next weekend. They don't return to Allegiant Stadium until the 27th, that being Black Friday. So they got a couple games away. But again, I think they've looked better with each week that's went on, and I think that's natural. Again, we lost our main Armani Rogers from last year. He was kind of the staple quarterback, and so I think when you go through changes like that, where all of a sudden you're getting a new coaching staff, and then you're coming in and you got a quarterback that hasn't taken a lot of snaps with the starting unit, and a young defense and just young players. Overall, again, it takes time to develop these. So, you look at it and people are like, UNLV, they still suck, and there was so much hope going into the year. It's okay. And I know I was a little maybe too optimistic saying, they'll finish 5-3. I was being more hopeful. But we'll have to see. And I do think Coach Arroyo is turning this team around. So let's all just, again, take a chill pill, and maybe something magical will happen. San Jose State, they could start feeling themselves. We're 3-0. We're taking on another, winless team, and you never know. UNLV could come out and be like, yeah, y'all slept on us. So hopefully that's what happens. UNLV Rebels, baby, all day. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But before I do, I know many of you might be thinking, hey, what about UNLV basketball? You haven't mentioned them. Their season kicks off in about 2 weeks. Just relax. I will get into all that next week as we are creeping on that. Yeah, basketball, NCAA. We didn't have March Madness last year. San Diego State would have been a 1 seed. I mean, it would have been wild. But yes, we will dive into that next week. I'm just going to leave you with one question, and that is about our Raiders. The second half of the season, how do you think it's going to shape out? Again, I'm going to say they're going to finish 5-3 and 10-6 on the year. But what is your opinion? How do you think they finish the second half of the year, and what do you think their end record will be? Also, will they make the playoffs? I think they will. I want to know that from you. But until then, stay good. And Thanksgiving's less than 2 weeks away. Black Friday, 2 weeks away actually from today. So exciting things happening. My birthday is, Christmas, wow, the best time of the year. I always think it is. Take care of yourselves. I'm getting a little hyped up, and I'll go back to trying getting this PS5.